Hello, subscribers, welcome back. And anyone who's new to my channel, my name is Mary Esther Gilbert. I'm a nutritional healing specialist and botanical medicines researcher, writer, educator, and sports nutritionist, among other things. But for the most part, my mission is to help humanity educate themselves as to their own nutritional physiology so that they can make more educated decisions about their health. So today I'd like to kind of go over a little bit about how to make sure that you're getting the right information whenever you do your own research. And as it applies to the nutritional health field, then I'd like to do a little bit of a dive into that. So I'm going to share my screen right now. And the first thing I'd like to just kind of read a little bit to you, just so that I don't leave anything out. Sometimes when I'm explaining something, I go back and I think, oh, darn, I should have mentioned this, that, and the other. So lately, I've been just grabbing a little bit of help from some of the literature here. But yeah, this is from the National Institutes of Health, and you can find a huge database, massive database on nutritional healing, supplements and botanical functional foods, botanical medicines, alternative natural alternatives that have been gathered from scientific research all over the world. So this is a pretty good hub to get some good scientific information. Whenever you do a search on the internet, and I always say this, is type in your search term, but also add the words science journal afterwards. This way you bypass all of the misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, sales pitches, just all kinds of pathways that you might take that would end up you getting something that isn't going to benefit you optimally. So I've been teaching people how to select their own supplements and how to select their own foods for over 45 years. And as the years have gone by, the more research I do, the more I learn and the more information I have to pass on to my clients and my readerships, and pretty soon my memberships, which will be the True Health Mastery Institute of Holistic Personal Health Management. So that's going to be launched hopefully soon. I've been working on that for a while, building the website and establishing the membership site for people. So I'll announce it again at the end, but if you're interested in joining as a member, it's very affordable and you get a lot of information that will help you become your own health expert, okay? So prevention is the key, and preventing the degenerative health process is where I'm coming from. Okay, so first of all, let's examine how to go about doing your scientific research. It's all over the news and you hear about what the latest scientific findings are. And so you want to make sure that you have a little bit of a foundational, knowledge so that you can decipher information, whether it's going to help you or not, whether it's credible or not, where it's coming from, who's putting out the reports, that kind of thing. You've really got to learn this kind of discernment so that you can protect your own health. So anyhow, this particular article I want to go over with you just basically explains how research works. People say, well, this article said that it's from a scientific study. Sounds good to me, people say, but no, when you learn about the differences between a legitimate study or an in-house study where the outcome is very biased, you don't want to be victim of something that's not going to work for you or could even be hazardous to your health, or incomplete when you think you're getting something more than what you pay, more of what you pay for when it's not really what you're getting. Okay, so explaining how research works. We've heard follow the science a lot during the pandemic, but it seems science has taken us on a long and winding road filled with twists and turns, even changing directions at times. That's led some people to feel they can't trust science. But when what we know changes, it often means science is working. In other words, over the millennia, well, I shouldn't say millennia, over the last several hundred years where science was taken a bit more of a precedence over, say, natural healers or whatnot. When science took hold, then there established a system where you you form a hypothesis and you conduct the science and you come to the conclusion. And if someone duplicates that, then they may or may not come up with the same conclusion. If they do their scientific research or when they conduct their studies on, say, a botanical, and there's just so many variations that it's better to accumulate many research works, a lot of different studies over time. Then the truth starts emerging. Then there's a pattern, so that one can come to a conclusion whether something is good for you or not. Okay, so the article goes on to say, explaining the scientific process may be one way that science communicators can help maintain public trust in science. So yes, we have to know the scientific process. Placing research in the bigger context of its field and where it fits into the scientific process can help people better understand and interpret new findings as they emerge. A single study usually uncovers only a piece of the larger puzzle. So you're only getting a glimpse of what, say, a botanical or a nutrient can do for the body. But when many scientists over time come together and report what their findings are, then you get a much better picture of how the body works, how the nutrients in any particular substance or plant will work in the body. And understanding how your body works at the microcell level really makes a huge difference in deciphering information for yourself. So the article also says, questions about how the world works are often investigated on many different levels. For example, scientists can look at the different atoms in a molecule, cells in a tissue, or how different tissues or systems affect each other. Researchers often must choose one or a finite number of ways to investigate a question. It can take many different studies using different approaches to start piecing the whole picture together. I have my glasses on and I'm going to enlarge this anyway. All right, so it says, sometimes it might seem like research results contradict each other, but often studies are just looking at different aspects of the same problem. Now, I have found that to be true in my years of diving into the scientific literature to produce books and articles and to teach clients and audiences in my readerships, that when you look at one study, they're only looking at a tiny aspect of how the body works and how it utilizes those substances. But when other scientists come in from different angles, say a group of scientists are going to study a couple of phytonutrient compounds in plants, or other scientists in that same plant are looking for the different vitamins and minerals in it. And still other scientists will look at how they all are used in synergy or in isolated instances. So of course, they're going to come up with different variations of the different conclusions. And if any group of scientists is applying a certain botanical or group of botanicals or extracts or certain phytonutrient compounds in plants and putting them together and applying them in a research study to their human or animal subjects, they're going to see different variations as well. So it depends on what part of the body, what system is being affected, in a positive or negative manner in those cell systems in the body. So that's why over time, it's really important to see what everyone has discovered and come to the conclusion, oh, it seems to be a certain set of phytonutrient compounds. Oh, it works better in synergy, and the immune system applies the utilization of these nutrients in a different way that the hormonal system or the kidney system or the nervous system or the brain can use these different nutrient compounds. So, and that's why there is a massive amount of studies, even peer-reviewed studies, where the experts get together and they evaluate all of these different studies. And thank goodness for those peer-reviewed studies, because otherwise I'd be lost in the labyrinth of the thousands and upon thousands of research studies in order to compile my own work for people. So I'm very grateful that they've already done that part for us, So now, of course, they must use computer systems to, just do searches on these databases or on these different research, results and these publications that publish these papers. So yeah, we're lucky that we have the internet and we have a way to consolidate and to summarize things like that. Okay, sometimes it might seem like research results contradict each other, but often studies are just looking at different aspects of the same problem. Researchers can also investigate a question using different techniques or time frames that may lead them to arrive at different conclusions from the same data. All right. And so, yeah, we have this element of scientists or peer-reviewed experts, looking at all of this data and come to their own conclusions. So sometimes it's hard not to be a little bit biased and a little bit subjective, but this is what the scientific method is so great for, to make sure people stay objective as observers and not, put in their own personal perspectives or views. So it keeps everyone in line so that everyone is more prone or more apt to agree on the data. Using the data available at the time of their studies, scientists develop different explanations or models. And again, there's different established standards in the scientific community, and this is the worldwide scientific community that's already known worldwide as to how to go about getting information from their study and their research. New information may mean that a novel model needs to be developed or to account for it. The models that prevail are those that can withstand the test of time and incorporate new information. Science is constantly evolving and is a self-correcting process. And that's really great, because that way that the latest research is just new findings adding to the base of knowledge that's already been established. And often, the base of knowledge is not been conclusive as of yet, and the research goes on. All we can do in this case, when we're studying nutritional, nutrients and phytochemical compounds that are in plants and how they act in synergy, it's best for us to get this kind of information and just apply it in our own lives and see what results we're getting. So that's what I did. The first 30 years I was in practice is before I retired my practice, 13 years ago, to do other things like write and teach and other things like that. But when I had a one-on-one practice, this is what I would do. I would just go into the scientific research and just look for, health, natural alternatives to a health issue. Not being a medical doctor, I had my clients sign waivers stating the fact that I'm not a medical doctor. I'm here to help you nourish your body correctly so that your cells in your body can adjust and do their own natural healing work and restoring your body back to normal. So that's what I did. So yeah, I mean, they applied what I compiled for them from the scientific literature. I created these nutritional protocols for them. And lo and behold, their results matched that of the scientists. So I was always happy about that. I was always amazed. I still am amazed at how the human body can take these different nutrients and restore itself back toward normalcy or optimal health vibrancy. Okay. So where was I? Did I read this paragraph? Scientists gain more confidence about a model through the scientific process. Okay. They replicate each other's work. They present at conferences, and papers undergo peer review, in which experts in the field review the work before it can be published in scientific journals. This helps ensure that the study is up to current scientific standards and maintains a level of integrity. Peer reviewers may find problems with the experiments or think different experiments are needed to justify the conclusions. They might even offer new ways to interpret the data. So it's important for science communicators to consider which stage a study is at in the scientific process when deciding whether to cover it. Some studies are posted on preprint servers for other scientists to start weighing in on and haven't yet fully vetted. Results that haven't yet been subjected to scientific scrutiny should be reported on with care and context to avoid confusion and frustration from readers. We've developed a one-page guide, and so they go on to show you the guide that they have developed, and this is from the Science, Health, and Public Trust Department of the National Institutes of Health. Now, even the government, they publish things that are relatively credible, things that we can go on and apply in for our health decisions. But I feel that this publication isn't quite up to the holistic perspective and more of the medical, science perspective that doesn't quite have the whole holistic picture of how the body can heal itself and restore itself with nutrients. So that's as far as I'm going to take it here. I will post this link below the description box here on this video so that you can do your own explorations. But also, I wanted to just click on one other thing. I think it was down here. So you can click on each one of these, but some of them, as I say, in my opinion, in my 45 years of research and seeing the results of people and learning how the body works, learning how the nutritional physiology aspects of our body works at the cell level. Sometimes even I can spot, some big contradictions in how the medical field is still working through their old school methods of thinking that the body is a machine, versus a holistic ecosystem. So anyhow, there's just any one of these that will take you, and it'll just show you a little bit more about what this article is about. But well, all right, I'm not on Rumble, so I have to watch what I say here on YouTube, because YouTube has a habit of censoring a lot and even taking people's channels down for saying things that they don't like. So the freedom of speech isn't quite here, on YouTube, as many of you probably know, if you've ever been censored on places like Facebook or anywhere else. So yeah, let's not go down that road, because you know how that will go. All right, so this is Spanish. Wow, I didn't realize I didn't click on this before, but there is a link to this document that we can go to. I don't remember where it was. I know I found it somewhere. Maybe I have it up somewhere. I do not. All right, well, I will look for it and I'll put the link up for you rather than wasting our time trying to find it. If any of you have done any, produced any videos on YouTube or anywhere, any other, website, then where is that link where I saw just a minute ago? And now that I have the audience in front of me, I can't find it. But I've been doing this often enough that I don't panic about things like that anymore. It's just like, oh, well, it's live and I don't ever edit my stuff. I don't have time. So whatever goes, goes. All right. So then I clicked on this and I found this website. It goes to the National Academies, Sciences, University, gosh, that's small, University Medicine. All right. But anyway, it just continues on if you want to learn more about what if scientific studies disagree. Or for stronger evidence, look for multiple studies, which we've already established here. And also, can science help people make decisions? You betcha. Let's click on that one. So it's all about making the right health choices for your optimal health vibrancy or for your health recovery. The body knows how to heal itself. And I have found over the years, and this is backed by all the scientific research that I found over the decades, that the body knows how to heal itself if it has the right information, the right molecular compounds that arrive at your cell receptors in every area of the body. We're all made up of different types of cells, and there are cell receptor sites on the cell membranes that only allow certain molecules through so that your DNA can go to work and repair itself, the genetic code of instructions that operate the whole body, or to create more proteins, to process fatty acids, and to repurpose all those molecules to build new tissues in the entire body. So our bodies are made mostly of protein, and we have, mostly water in our bodies, but we need a lot of protein molecules, and they can be anywhere from enzymes to hormones to just new tissues. We're all made out of protein. So that's why I always recommend that people have plenty of dietary protein in addition to the other food groups. Leaving out any food group only spells trouble for your health down the road. Okay, so my book, Nutritional Synergy, goes over all of that. I've developed my own nutritional system, and there's 14 different categories. 12 categories are foods to choose from on a daily basis, so you get nourished from all of the known essential nutrients known to science. so that you're choosing foods that give you a full complement of those essential nutrients your body needs to stay well, get well, and slow down the aging process, and just go on to have an energetic, creative, happier life, to handle stress better, make better decisions, things like that. So anyhow, so can science help people make decisions? Yes, absolutely. But like it says, you've got to watch it. You've got to do your own homework, do a little bit of investigating. Where's the money? Where is it coming from? Who's producing this product? If you're buying some supplements, say, and you want to know what goes in this, everyone should know where the ingredients come from in anything they put in their bodies. Okay, and how it's processed, that makes a lot of difference, whether your body can utilize it or not, whether it's retained any nutritional healing, restorative value for you. So these are the kinds of things that people should look at. They should become label readers, and they should call the toll-free numbers on the vitamin labels, say, and ask the questions. Where do these nutrients come from? What kind of plant materials? Are they organic? Are they sprayed with pesticides? If the label does not say organic, then it's 99.9% chance that there are pesticide residues. They are genetically modified with pesticide, DNA, or even insect DNA, which is why they're called genetically modified organisms, GMOs. So none of those things belong in the body. That's not nutrients. The body won't use that to repair itself, So it's all about knowing what you're putting in and what your DNA will understand to utilize to protect you. All right, so it's just talking about, how scientific studies can help people make different types of decisions. So it's, of course, science is delving into all fields, not just nutritional, physiology, like the field that I'm teaching, and researching all the time. So yeah, it's all about knowing what you're doing and really doing what you must to make the right decision. And it's worth it, because that knowledge you can use more and more. The more knowledge you accumulate, the more of an expert you are at deciphering what's good for you and what isn't. You can reject something. Trust your instincts too. Your DNA is we are vibrational frequency beings. And if the higher frequencies of love and light and truth are not vibrating in your body, you'll know it. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, or if you just have these doubts and fears, fear can cloud your vision or your interpretation. Certainly, that's why it's important to be educated, so that you can recognize whether something should require fear or not, right? Or just logic and thinking things through and getting answers, and looking at something and deciding that you want to try it for your health. Okay, let's see what this says real quick. I didn't read it before, but it looks interesting. Assess the strength of the evidence. That sounds good. There are many ways to study our world. How can you tell which studies are good for informing decisions? Look at how the study compares to others on the same topic. The newest study is not necessarily the best one. That is true. Look at how the study was done. Studies that involved a larger sample or a longer time period may provide stronger evidence than smaller or shorter studies. It is also useful to look at the number of variables, factors that can change in a study. So yeah, scientists have to be very careful, controlling the variables. Is this person drinking the right amount of fluids, or is this person, conforming to the dietary instructions, so that the scientists can decide whether something is good or bad for the person, right? So variables can change. And also, if they're having the subjects recall their diet, they could make mistakes, they could lie, right? So they have to, these kinds of things have to be accounted for. So if someone has a group of people staying at a facility and they're controlling their diet and they see what goes in, then that's going to have a lot better, their conclusion is going to be a lot more accurate, right? So it's also useful to look at the number of variable factors that can change in a study. It is tricky to study complex systems with a lot of variables, especially if they can't be controlled. I just said that. For example, in a study of child nutrition, it can be hard to control all the variables, since the child's school and home life can both influence what foods they eat. Take the results of these complex studies with a grain of salt. Yes, and that's what the peer-reviewed studies are for. They analyze things like this and they throw out or reject something. They're not going to put this in their review if they feel the study wasn't done accurately or correctly or within, the certain standards that must be done with to maintain objectivity. Look at how the study is being shared. Results that are reported in peer-reviewed scientific journals are usually stronger than results shared through informal channels like a blog or that appear in the preprint form before undergoing peer review. So a lot of these white papers that doctors produce, they're not scientific studies. They're just empirical data. They're their personal, experiences with how their patients' outcome turned out, right? So, and of course, they will report it and submit it. And if enough of these reports come in, then that warrants a scientific study. So scientific researchers look for papers like this or groups of papers in order to expand the knowledge of data the knowledge, the databases of knowledge of humankind all over the world. This is done all over the world. Scientists all over the world understand this procedure, this standard. Okay. So the peer-reviewed studies, yes, I've looked at thousands of peer-reviewed studies and looked at even more scientific research, peer-reviewed studies from these publications that come from all over the world, every single country you can think of. And a lot of them are translated into English. And of course, that takes a lot of technical knowledge to be able to translate something that technical to another language and transcribe it accurately, All right, so look at how the study is being shared. Results that are reported in peer-reviewed scientific journals are usually stronger than results shared through informal channels like a blog that appear in preprint form before undergoing peer review. I know I just said that. Look at who did the study. Consider whether the scientists have formal training and whether conflicts of interest could have influenced the methods or results. So if you were to do your own search on the internet on a particular botanical and didn't put in the word science journal after, do that, just next time you do a research like that, just type it in without the science journal phrase and with it. So you'll see what comes up in the two different searches and you'll be amazed. If you click on the ones where you didn't type in science journal, then you'll get a lot of, like I said, disinformation, misinformation, unqualified advice, right? Or propaganda or pseudo-scientific work. Say a corporation wants to make a lot of sales, and they're labeling it to make it seem, oh, this is natural, and oh, this is fantastic, the greatest thing since sliced bread or something. And so they massively market it. But when you look at the label and look at the ingredients, I'm going to show you one such label right now, and you'll see that it's not your friend. It's not your body's friend. It won't do the thing that you're assuming it may do by paying attention to the propaganda. And if this corporation happens to say, oh, well, we did a scientific study, well, one, as you know now, won't do it, right? And if they post the results and you compare how they word the results in their paper, in their research, in their report, with the very same subject with the other search that you had put in Science Journal, you'll see a lot of peer-reviewed studies, and you'll see how the scientists put together their study very technically, much technical knowledge is needed to conduct a thorough research on something, right? And that would be just one group of scientists. So over time, of course, scientists who gather the same kind of research will produce a really good peer-reviewed study, and that will be one step closer to saying something is factual. All right, you can have something that's factual evidence on that side, but on the other side here, you'll have a lot of propaganda, and it'll mislead you toward something that will not help you. Ultimately, that's been my experience, or will even possibly be inflammatory to your system, and I'll show you that in a moment. So yeah, knowing how the science works is very important. A particular study might relate to your life or decisions, it says, or it might not. Most scientific studies have a very specific focus. A study that focuses on older people may not apply to children, for example. Looking at multiple studies together can help you decide whether the conclusions apply to your situation. You see, it is pretty complicated, isn't it? But if you understand these basic concepts, you can go from there. You know, like when we graduate high school, we think, okay, I've got knowledge, you know, I can do anything. No, you find that as you read more or expand your education, you find, okay, high school was just the jumping off point. That was just the fundamental education, right? So this is where some of you may be right now. And you might have been fallen victim to buying supplements or you know, going on certain diets that really didn't work for you, or you haven't seen any results, or even maybe gave you stomach aches or some other thing, right? Excuse me, my phone. I thought I had lowered that volume. All right, so I just wanted to just explore that with you a little bit too. All right, so we've gone over that. Now here is, yeah, okay, so here, this is the company, and I don't like to pick on companies, but this is a very typical vitamin mineral formulation that have seen over the years. And some companies have really done their scientific research, and they're turning more toward organic ingredients, whole food nutrients, which is so much better. The body recognizes all of these massively complicated molecules that are in our foods, in whole foods, foods that have not been disturbed or altered in any way molecularly. So raw foods are excellent, or organic foods are nature's medicines. And I've got other videos on this channel you can explore on that, also on my website. But in this case, this is a typical vitamin mineral formula you'll find at, say, you know, a drugstore or some box store. So if we were to go over all of these ingredients, you would see they're not whole food supplements. They are derivatives of the whole food. Okay, so in this case, vitamin A, no supplement should have vitamin A, because when you take in all of these plant chemicals like the retinol and the carotenes, all of these massive complex phytochemical compounds that are in plants that are so very compatible to our bodies, because cells of plants are very, very similar to humans, and we have a lot of the systems in plants are the same in humans. So down at the cell level, you know, their metabolisms are very, very similar to ours. So we're very, very compatible with the plant kingdom. When we utilize, our DNA recognizes the DNA of plants and immediately utilizes them for healing. And those of you who've been following my channel and following my work know that I've said this many times before. Okay, so in this case, though, 60% is beta carotene. They tried, right? That's okay. Ascorbic acid is pretty much a synthetic form of vitamin C. You'll find the more complex holographic kind of molecule in whole foods that are high in vitamin C. And so they've gotten the memo, you know, use only vitamin D3 in supplements, known as cholecalciferol, which is something that our bodies make when we're exposed to sunlight. That's why sunlight is so important, because vitamin D is the precursor to thousands of hormones that our bodies must make, the regulating hormones that our bodies make, not just the reproductive hormones. And then they have the derivative of the natural vitamin E, and it looks like only a partial molecule of this vitamin E here. So you want the whole complex. Every vitamin is a whole complex in itself. Every single individual vitamin in the B complex is a complex in itself. So they've got thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, you know, B6, folate, B12, and biotin. Those are, and pantothenic acid. So some of them are essential, some are not. So the pantothenic acid our bodies can make out of the other B vitamins, and they attach a calcium molecule to it. So, you know, there's so many different synthetic variations of vitamins. And they're called synthetic, not just because they're all, you know, synthetic, but because they're partial molecules or derivatives, synthetic derivatives of the original whole food complex. So that's not something your body is going to like very much. It's going to have to try to complete those molecules in order to utilize them inside of our inner universe of our cells, where true health happens, or degenerative health happens, right? Also, another thing here, calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate the body makes on its own when it needs to alter its pH. So if the body is too acidic, then your body will assemble the molecule needed to neutralize a lot of that acidity, which causes inflammation in the body. But also, on the other side of it, calcium carbonate will neutralize your stomach acids and not allow you to digest heavy molecules like fats and proteins and starches, complex carbohydrates. So, and of course, the gallbladder is involved in fat metabolism and digesting of fats in the diet. But calcium carbonate, a little bit is okay, but to regularly put that in a supplement and take that every day, you'll notice a little bit of problems digesting your food, possibly. So we need a lot of enzymes. We need the hydrochloric acid in the stomach to break down those food molecules. And then, of course, iron, we need heme iron, the best 100% absorbable form of iron where it doesn't accumulate in the liver or cause a lot of liver problems would be the heme iron, which heme means blood. So that means animal-derived meats. Animal-derived protein will give you the most 100% safest form of iron. You're not going to overconsume a lot of meat. That's too filling, obviously. Even those who eat a lot of meat will, have a stopping point where, okay, I'm full. Please don't overeat. Please don't be gluttonous like that. That is terrible for your poor digestive system. So a lot of digestive upsets happen. But anyway, to put this type of iron in a supplement, it's just going to accumulate. And so you've got the possibility of a toxic liver and a lot of liver issues, jaundice, all kinds of problems. So it's actually very dangerous. 18 milligrams is a lot of iron to put in a supplement like this, and it's not even that absorbable. So it's going to cause inflammatory reactions all over the place too. All right, so iodine, potassium iodide, that's a pretty good form of iodine, and it's in a microgram form. So yeah, we only need a tiny bit of iodine. Don't go out and buy all of these individual nutrients, okay, because that will terribly upset your ecological and biochemical balance in your body and cause a lot of cascade reactions, a lot of side effects. So please keep your whole foods, organic whole foods. It's worth it. I know they're more expensive, but if you buy organic foods, you won't need to eat as much. You'll feel more satisfied, and it'll even out financially, and then you'll avoid a lot of these health issues that form from nutrient deficiencies. And even if you consume a supplement like this, it may not satisfy 100% all of your nutritional needs. And notice how the daily values that the government has put out years ago, they might have done a little bit of adjustments here and there, are 200% of over the recommended dose, 125%, 150% over. And that's just, those guidelines were established just to avoid a lot of the deficiency diseases like scurvy, or rickets, where bones don't form well and children's legs become bowed, So and other types of deficiency diseases that the government long ago established minimal guidelines for. So the body can utilize these nutrients, but also in a food, there could be even less of these high percentages of amounts of nutrients because they're 100% absorbable. A lot of these nutrients are only 20 to 40% absorbable. So you're not getting 100% full benefit that you would from a whole food supplement or the whole food itself. Same thing with magnesium, zinc. Sometimes people get toxic side effects from taking individual, minerals like magnesium or zinc or selenium, or copper. A lot of these, if you're taking derivatives of them, they're not whole food and they're not in a synergistic form in an entire whole food, then you're going to have some side effects. The liver can only handle so much of these potentially toxic elementals, so that's why they have to be in whole food form, where the atomic structure of these nutrients are completely absorbable, completely utilizable, and in the right form and in the right amounts. That's why whole foods are so much better. All right, so I think that was it for that one. Now let's go over to So the FDA is, knows that iron overdose, especially in children, could be fatal. All right, so they've got these warning labels on these. If you buy an organic whole food supplement, multi-nutrient supplement, then you won't see any such warnings on there because you don't get sick from eating whole foods. All right, now the other ingredients are also extremely important. So you want to make sure that you're not getting genetically modified organisms in there. You're not eating, insect parts from their DNA or genetically inserted pesticides in the DNA of these plants or these nutrients. So cellulose gel, modified food starch. It used to say cornstarch, but I guess the public said, I don't want corn. It could be modified or it could be, GMO. So they put in the term modified. That's the same thing. 99.9% of a lot of these starches are from genetically modified crops. So you have to, I would call this company and ask them pointedly and say, when you say modified food starch on your label, what kind of plants were derived to make this starch? And are they genetically modified? Are they organic? No, they're not. I can guarantee you. Maltodextrin, that's been around. It's a complex sugar that's found in a lot of foods. Cross carbamylose, sodium, high promellose, silicon dioxide. Those are they've been around a while, and so they're considered generally safe, but they're not nutrients. Okay. Magnesium stearate. Now that's a animal derived fatty kind of substance that will keep the tablets bound together so they don't fall apart in the bottle. Just basically, that's all that is. And then gelatin, animal derived. Now, polyethylene glycol. Stay away from anything that says ethylene glycol, whatever variation of that is. And that, if you were to look up polyethylene glycol on the Environmental Working Group website, let's go there. I thought I had that up. Oh, I did, as you see, I just did a search on that. So let's look at the basic compound, the ethylene glycol. Okay. Now, concerns. Even though it says low cancer, over time, by the way, if you don't know what the Environmental Working Group website is about, they keep a database of all of the toxic chemicals you'll ever find in foods and in consumer products. That includes makeup, lotions, shampoos, anything you apply on your skin or anything that you're exposed to, like household cleaners. They have it on this website. So you can look up the ingredients on your products. And if you do that, then you'll probably throw away all of your the cosmetics you're using, or lotions or shampoos even. And all this stuff gets absorbed through the skin, ends up in the bloodstream, clogs up the cleansing and detoxifying pathways in the body. I can go on and on. That's going to be it's got to be another video because it has been linked to cancers and heart disease and hormone disruptions, things like that. And this website will explain that. Okay. Anyhow, I'll put that link on here too, down below. All right. So then they talk about low incidence of cancer. It doesn't say no incidences of cancer. Our superfoods that are abundant in the plant kingdom that have been researched and studied for years, they have been very conclusive as far as how they protect against cancer or even bind to synthetic chemicals and help the body eliminate these chemicals that do accumulate in the body because they're fat-like substances. Their molecular structures are very similar to fats. And so the body doesn't know what to do with it. It can't eliminate them. It just stores it in the fatty tissues, not just under the skin, but around the nerve cells, in the brain, things like that. So a lot of these problems are linked to neurodegenerative disorders, things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, other nerve and brain disorders. All right, so then it also says some people may be prone to allergies or immunotoxicity. Now, moderate developmental and reproductive toxicity, who in their right mind with this knowledge would ever give this to their families? Any products that have these kinds of chemicals that can accumulate. I mean, years ago, I did a study on how newborn babies were born with over 200 chemicals in their little bodies because they're passed on from the mother to the child. And this has been going on for several generations. Okay, use restrictions are low, but there are restrictions. Over time, these things accumulate in the body. So I don't care if it says low, if someone's been taking in a product with ethylene glycol in it, and it's a preservative. You saw this, a derivative of it on this product, polyethylene glycol. Poly means more complex. All right, so I definitely don't trust that. And also down here, it says unacceptable. EWG verified products cannot contain this ingredient. So they do not recommend this ingredient or any of its derivatives. Here's ethylene glycol. So all these other things that you find, even glycol, itself, it's an alcohol. It's not a nutrient. So then they will give you products with this ingredient and contamination concerns, all these different occupational hazards, developmental reproductive toxicity, ecotoxology, and just persistence and bioaccumulation. All right, so yeah, these are claims, and this is what the science has discovered so far. But is that the final word? No, as we just learned, that science is an ever evolving, ever developing, ever growing, kind of way to try to make sense of our world and to help us make better health decisions. All right, so I did mention if anyone would like to join as a member of my up-and-coming True Health Mastery Institute of Holistic Personal Health Management. I list on my website here, and like I said, I'll provide you the link. I list all of the perks of what you'll get as a member, and then some, so much more. Too much to list here because once you launch something like this, then it's going to have its own evolution, right? It's going to evolve in a way in response to my member subscriber needs. And so that's, I can't wait to do that. I love teaching. I love researching and sharing information. There's never enough time to do that all in one video or all in one Zoom call or anything like that. Or even when I sit down with clients and stay with them for 2 to 3 hours to help them, relearn and provide them with a protocol to improve their health, recover their health, kind of thing. So as a member, you'll have access to a lot of information and live Q&As. I love live Q&As because they trigger this knowledge that's been accumulating for 45 years and continues on, that when someone asks a question, oh yeah, I know that, and so I'll give them the answer. And I won't necessarily remember to put that in any article or any book, that I've written so far, or even any live meeting, that I'm a guest on or whatnot. So anyhow, if you're interested in joining as a member, please fill out this form and just say, please notify me when the Institute is launched and available, and I will just make that announcement to anyone who, opts into my email list. All right, so that's it for now, folks. I hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed providing that for you. And here I am, big face. Anyhow, just thank you for dropping in, and I hope you really got something out of it. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, as I say. There's so much more I could delve into, and this is why a membership is so very important, because that way, even I have courses there also. I'll have 2 courses to start out with, and I'll develop more courses as the need arises. And this is one course I would probably do, is to just do a really deep dive and to analyze a lot more deeply, to really educate you and really provide you with the information you need to personally manage your own health and prevent having to succumb to the disease process. And I have to say, the questionable morals of the medical industrial, complex. But be careful what I say on this channel. I don't know how far I can take it. But anyhow, that's why I'm probably going to switch to Rumble. I will still have the YouTube channel, and I will introduce what I'm going to talk about on Rumble. Rumble allows you completely, First Amendment rights, free speech, no censorship. So, I think that I could do my viewers or my subscribers a lot more good in just being a little more honest, just to really disclose more information to help protect you and your family. All right, Mary Esther Gilbert, I am signing out now, and I wish you all true health and happiness. And please like, share, and subscribe and get the word out. We have to heal humanity. Humanity needs to be healthy, needs to be on a higher plane of existence. You know, we can't have sick populations that are subdued into ignorance or fear or obedience. You know, this programming thing has just got to stop in our society. So I have found that once the body is elevated to a higher vibrational frequency of health, as the physicists have measured, you know, then we have a person who's better able to make discernment decisions and more logical, sensible decisions, and even have better love and feelings of love toward others, toward humankind, to their families, better interactions, better communications. I've seen occur. People really transform in so many ways when they improve their health this way. And so I feel like I've found the way to do it. And I've been sharing this for many, many decades now. And I want to continue. I never want to stop. All right. Thank you so much. Talk to you later. Bye-bye now.